Hey my loves, welcome back to my channel. Tonight we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be going through my altar and doing a total deep cleanse just in time for the Gemini full moon. This altar actually is very special to me. I've had it for years, but it's been through a lot, as you can see. So, at the time of the full moon, I'm going to be doing a deep cleanse, working to remove all of the candle wax and herb buildup to bring it back to its original, or at least closer to its original condition. A new addition to my original altar is this shell mirror. I got it for around $65, I think, off of Craigslist, but because I'm closer to the ocean now, I find it really appropriate and beautiful to keep this at the top of my altar. Now, to dive into the cleanse, the first thing I want to do is empty out my drawers. I do most of my work with intention oils at my altar, so some of the oils will stain and the candle wax will drip. For this deep cleanse, I'm going to use an all-purpose cleaner to wipe down the inside of the drawers, and later on in this video, I'll show you how I remove the candle wax on the outside. After the inside of the drawers have been thoroughly wiped down and cleaned, I'm then going to start focusing on the items that were inside the drawer, including this alm pendant. I'm using Dawn dishwashing liquid in order to do a deep cleanse of all of the items that were found inside of the drawers. Dawn dishwashing liquid is actually one of my favorite soaps to clean with, simply because it removes any oil buildup, but of course feel free to work with more natural soaps. Dr. Bronner's soap is another awesome alternative. Let's move on to the items that you can find inside of my altar, including the spirit quartz, this crystal quartz, my amethyst cluster, my tiger cowrie shell, my favorite collection of geodes, a few meditation bells, a container for burning resin, oyster shells from New Orleans, and my peacock. Ancestry is something that's very important to me, and this knife is something that belonged to my grandfather. On his birthday, I'll lay it out and I still feel his energy on it to this day. Other things you'll find are incense, sage and Palo Santo, a rose of Jericho, and a few written intentions that I wrote a few years ago that I'm still holding on to. Ricketts Crown Blue and white chalk are things that I also use in order to provide additional protection during my intentions. I know a lot of you guys love crystals, so if you're interested in a crystal haul or an oracle deck haul of what is in my collection, I'm more than happy to share. Just let me know down in the comments. I'd also be more than happy to share with you some of my favorite tools that I work with on the regular, including this incense burner and my mortar and pestle for crushing herbs. Now comes the more difficult part, the deep cleanse. Here's a little trick I found works in order to get rid of built up candle wax. You're going to need a knife, you're going to need a lighter, and you're also going to need some paper towels. Of course, anytime you're working with fire, you need to be super careful, so obviously do that. But what I like to do is use the fire in order to melt down the candle wax and wipe it down with the paper towel. I found that it makes the candle wax melt off very clean and easy, but of course you can always peel or pick it off yourself. The mirror on my altar's drawers is aged for character, but it's cleaner than it originally was. And in order to make sure that it's super clean, I'm going to use glass cleaner to wipe it down and cleanse it even further. Now that I'm satisfied with the end result, it's time to put it back and work on the next drawer. And then we're going to then start to decorate the altar, which is my favorite part. For those not comfortable with working with fire, you can use a dull blade like I have here in order to peel off any remaining candle wax. When you're done, it's time to put it back. Here is a closer look at the finished product. Now it's time to work on the top of the altar, and we are going to bless it. And here is my crystal making a little tiny cameo. He's so cute. I love him. Before I can move on to using Palo Santo or sage to bless and cleanse my altar, I have to remove the candle wax. So I'm using the same dull blade that I used before in order to peel off the candle wax that's stuck on the top, and then I'm going to use the paper towels from the floor in order to wipe it clean. I'm recycling a piece of Palo Santo wood that I've used in rituals in New Orleans, and I'm using it in order to bless my space here in Florida. I've already done a deep cleanse with sage, so I don't feel the need to do that with this ritual and this cleansing. I'm using the Palo Santo simply to bless it. This is going to be important because tomorrow for the Gemini full moon, I will be working intention for myself as well as my clients, and I want my space to be cleansed. As you can see, the Palo Santo burned out early, signaling that the light cleansing is complete. After Palo Santo, I'm moving on to charged Florida water. This Florida water was charged at one of the recent full moons in New Orleans, and I'm just using it to wipe down and cleanse the wood space even further. Following that, I'm going to work with my Banish Hex oil in order to remove any toxic energies, and then I'm going to follow up with the Goddess Vibe oils in order to attract abundance, love, and light into my life while I'm working my intention. I'm adding a few drops in each direction, and then I'm going to use my intention in order to focus on removing and wiping out any type of toxic lingering negativity that I just don't feel comfortable with or I don't want to carry into the new year and into my ritual. You'll also see me kind of pull and draw the energy away from the altar in order to help cleanse and purify my space even further. Next, I'm going to move on to my Goddess Vibes oil, which I am setting the intention for abundance, beauty, and blessing, and our ability to receive. This is one of my favorite oils to work with, especially when it comes to anointing my altar, because it's allowing me to receive the things that I'm actually setting intention for. But instead of pushing this energy away and banishing it away, I'm actually going to use my hands to draw the energy in. I work with goddess energy a lot at my altar, so this is also a personal preference. Now it's time to dress the altar. This is usually everyone's favorite part because you can pretty much just allow your creative and intuitive juices to flow. One thing that I'll be using are crystals. I'm also going to be using flowers and plants because I like to have a living altar, especially before the full moon. And of course, I like to light a candle and set the intention for blessing. I'm also adding little offerings as a token of my appreciation for the journey thus far. So there you have it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I want to invite you to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel because there's plenty more videos where this came from, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!